7.8
linear
equation. I can use slope and intercept form to solve linear equations.
So you guys, before we go any further, thank you, Miriam. What is another name for slope-intercept form? Everybody. You guys know how frustrating it is when I ask you that question like that and no one answers? When I think everyone should be able to give me the answer right away. The only reason I say everyone is I think everyone should know this. That's how important it is. So I'm going to ask it again. What is another name for slope-intercept form?
Y-intercept.
Y-intercept. Still not like super thrilled with the response. If you don't know that, how are you going to get the question correct if it asks you for y-intercept if you have no idea what y-intercept is? Slope-intercept and y-intercept are the same thing. You've got to know that. We've talked about that like 20 times in the lesson. Okay, is this a video for me or for you? Because I will turn it off right now if you're not going to participate in it. Okay, so stop organizing your binders, sit down, and watch what we're doing. All right, so linear equation. Is it a straight line or is it some other type of line? It's a straight line. Slope, steepness, y-intercept. It's a spot where a line crosses the y-axis. Very important, as you found out. And then an ordered pair would be the x's and the y's. So vocab, got to know your vocab. Number 2, if you don't know what number 2 is talking about, there is no way you can complete the work on this assignment. Y equals mx plus b. Y is the what coordinate?
Y coordinate.
M is the?
Slope.
X is the?
X coordinate.
B is the?
Y-intercept.
Slope goes by many names. The names that you really need to know are slope, M, and rise over run. This one we didn't talk much about, so don't worry about it. And then obviously slope would be the steepness of a line. Things for 4 and 5 are going to be on the graph, and this is what you're really going to have to focus on. So number 9, using the graph, write the slope-intercept equation of the graph. So you were given a graph. Your job was to write y equals mx plus b with the m and the b filled in. My advice always is to start with the b. B is what again, you guys?
Y-intercept.
It's the y-intercept. So where does this graph intercept the y-axis? Everybody.
1.
It intercepts it right here at 0.01. No matter what, it's always going to intercept. The line's always going to intercept the y-axis at 0 something. Okay, this would be 0, 1. If it intercepted here, that would be 0, 9, or whatever that graph. If it intercepted down here, it would be 0, negative 8. So it's always going to be 0 something. So we only use for the y-intercept, we only use whatever the y-coordinate is in which it intercepts. Once you have the y-intercept, then you just have to find another spot on the graph from the y-intercept to that spot in which you can measure a rise and a run. So how far did we rise up from this point?
2.
And how far did we run to that point? 1. So what's our slope?
2 over 1.
And the slope would be the same thing no matter where. 2 over 1. 2 over 1. 2 over 1, and so on and so forth. Okay. Next one. Where's our y-intercept? Where's our y-intercept? This is 0.5, right? Yep. To get from here to here, what do we rise and what do we run?
2.
2 over 3, right? What do we rise and what do we run? 2 over 3. Remember, if I plugged in a number for x, let's say I plugged in 0 for x. What does y become? What is 2/3 times 0 plus 5? 5. So if x is 0 and y is 5, that should be on our line, right? I start at my origin, I go over 0, I go up 1, I go up 2, 3, 4, 5, it's right there, right? Okay. We have another graph here, I'm going to skip over it. Okay, this graph actually was below, or a little bit lower, below the x-axis. Same thing though, find the y-intercept, find the slope. Then we switched gears. Now I gave you the slope-intercept or the y-intercept and you graphed it. Laura, what do we always start with when we're graphing slope-intercept equations? What should we always start with? The y-intercept, she said. Laura, what's the y-intercept? 1. So we start with 1. Once we have 1, we just find our slope. What's our slope, Laura? 3/4. So we rise 3 and we run We rise 3 and we run. We rise negative 3 and we run. Is 3 over 4 the same as negative 3 over negative 4? What's a negative divided by a negative?
Positive.
What's a positive divided by a positive? They're the same thing. Last thing, I know this video is getting long. Graph y equals negative 2x minus 5. Negative 2 is really negative 2 over. Should you always write that in there? I would. Some of you can put that down as your cheat sheet. Always write that in there so you know the rise and then obviously the run. Because negative 2 over 1 is the same thing as negative 2, right? Questions?